What's going on, film family? It's your boy CEO Hayes, and I'm here. I'm joined by the other film brother himself, Mr. JB, the prodigal one. What's going on, broski?
What's going on, Hayes? What's going on, film family? It's the film bros in the building.
In the building. This week we are here to review The Little Things, but before we do that, we do have to talk about some movie news, bro. So it's been an interesting. I know you don't really watch I really wish you watched this WandaVision show on Disney Plus because it is honestly, I would say it's probably my favorite thing in the MCU, period. And the only reason why is because it's so different. And Elizabeth Olsen is by far the best actor in all of Marvel movies, period. The range that she's able to show on this, you would get the cheesiness of it because like it's set so it has them in like the first like 3 or 4 episodes, like basically them doing 60s, 70s, and 80s sitcoms, and then it starts getting into more of the comic booky shit here in episodes 4 and 5. But bro, when I tell you the range of this woman as an actress is fucking phenomenal, bro. Phenomenal. She went from one scene of acting like she's in an 80s sitcom to snapping and being back in the real world, and like her acting completely changed to where it's damn near villainous, and that switch that she's able to do, fucking amazing, bro.
How long are the episodes?
Like 30 minutes.
Oh, I'll give it a chance. I know who gives this, Netflix or what?
The thing is, no, bro, it's Disney Plus.
Oh.
The thing is though, bro, is you really do have to. You haven't seen shit since the original Avengers, bro. Like you, and that's the bad thing. That's the
true.
one. That's the one bad thing with like when they do they still are gonna have their standalones. Like they're having a lot of new superheroes in the next phase, so you don't have to necessarily seen everything before it. But with this series, it's so much more depth that you only get from watching all the movies, because the main character in Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, Elizabeth Olsen's character. You don't mind me going into this, right? I really want to talk this show, and it sucks that you don't watch it. So the reason why this is such a great show, and I say you kind of have to see everything else in the MCU, is because it's the theme of loss. She lost her brother. She had to kill her boyfriend. He was brought back to life in front of her and killed right again in front of her. She died and came back. And so it's this. She had this mental. We're seeing someone deal with the loss of their loved ones and snapping into a mental break. Now, when you think about that, and you think of somebody who has powers to warp reality when their mental snaps like that, and she's like trapped this whole city, and now they like go through these sitcoms, and this is her trying to deal with the fact that she lost her husband and she was pregnant, and she like it's a lot of the theme of loss, and how you deal with that makes this show so much more powerful when you really know everything in it.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's a really, really great show, bro. Really great show. But we are not to get let's get off this. Let's get into what actually started us wanting to do movie podcasts. So this podcast, for those who don't know, started as a horror movie review podcast before we decided to branch out to all movies. Me and your joint, I think, well, it's not your number 2, my number 1 favorite horror movie of all time is Halloween. That was originally created by John Carpenter. Well, he's seen Halloween Kills, and he says that this is the ultimate horror movie. What do you think?
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I thought he was about to roast.
No,
Oh, wow.
He's seen it. He has nothing but glowing reviews for it. He calls it the ultimate horror movie. That's powerful coming from the person who created the franchise, bro.
How much do you think they paid him to say that?
Well, I mean, he is involved in it.
Yeah,
So I mean, but
we'll be the judge of that.
But the thing is, bro, my thing is,
I have high hopes for real, though. Legitimately, I have high hopes for the film.
I would have believed it more that they paid him to say that if it was the original reboot, because now they have all, like, I know you didn't really care for the new Halloween in, what was it, 2018, but generally that movie was very well loved and critically acclaimed.
It was.
So I don't think that they need the John Carpenter rub, so to say, for the sequel to this. They would have needed that for the original. So it just lets me believe more that this is probably true.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna be in it. I mean, yeah, again, like we just said, we're both big Halloween fans, so we'll see what comes out of it. But getting that, even though they don't need that John Carpenter rub, it's still a big rub to have, and a good
Yeah.
rub to have.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't deny that. Like that's just one of those things that hearing John Carpenter call it the ultimate, it's just like, all right, we'll see, we'll
Right.
see, we'll see. All right, moving into the next bit of news. This is a movie that me and you are both dreading. I don't think we really have high hopes for. We're going to watch it. We're going to review it. Coming to America 2. The full trailer finally came out, more than the teaser, which actually gives what the story is going to be in this movie. Did you get a chance to watch it?
I did see the trailer, yes.
So it is actually, remember I told you like years ago, this is literally like 10 or maybe more years ago, the original Coming to America sequel that was going to star Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence was going to be Martin Lawrence being Eddie Murphy's son and coming back to Zamunda. Seems like they're keeping that theme in this. We got to see his wife. We got to see the fact that he has 2 daughters with his wife. They still do live in Zamunda, but it's weird because they are actually going with the theme that Prince Hakeem cheated on his wife when he was in New York all those years ago. What do you think of that, bro? Being the main storyline.
That's out of left field. I mean, I don't think we were expecting that, but it'll be interesting. We don't know who the mistress is, right?
Yes, they've showed all of that. It's I know the actress's name. I can't think of it off the top of my head right now.
And I could have swore I saw Wesley Snipes in the trailer.
Yes, he is part of a rivaling African country that wants to take over Zamunda.
I cannot remember the last time I saw Wesley Snipes in a movie. Like a new movie.
We just saw him in the last movie with Eddie Murphy, the Netflix one.
Oh, yeah, but that wasn't like last week. That was like what? Like I felt like that was 2 years ago.
Bro, that was just last year, bro.
Really?
That was during the pandemic. Yeah.
No, bro.
Yes, bro. That was during the pandemic.
Wait, are we talking? We're not talking about the same. You're talking about Dolomite?
Yes.
Dolomite was not during the pandemic.
Bro, Dolomite was absolutely during the pandemic.
Guarantee 10,000.
So, Leslie Jones is the baby mama in there.
Gotcha.
Let's see. Let me see. Am I tripping that hard?
You are tripping that hard.
Let's see.
That shit came out in 2019, I believe.
That did. She came out October 4th, 20. God damn, bro. We've been around for a while.
I know, bro.
God damn. Okay. Well, I stand corrected. But yeah, he was in that with Eddie Murphy. So I mean, clearly maybe him and Eddie Murphy have a bond. Eddie Murphy's doing him a solid, putting him in his movies or whatever. But he was really good in Dolomite. His eccentric director, and he seems to be doing a lot of the same things in this movie as well. So
yeah, maybe that's a little niche for him to come back.
Yeah. All right. So what overall, did the trailer do anything to improve how good you think this movie's going to be?
Not really, but I'm not totally down on the movie. I still want to see it. It's coming to America. It's Eddie Murphy. I mean, I honestly think if I didn't see Dolomite, I might be dreading this movie more than most. But because what I saw out of Eddie Murphy and Dolomite, Eddie Murphy still got it. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Eddie Murphy still got it. So with Eddie Murphy on the screen, there's a chance that this movie's going to be good. How the story is now with the whole cheating thing and everything, I don't know how that's going to go. But I'm still excited to see it. And when this is the last time we see freaking Arsenio Hall on the big screen?
That's a good point, bro. It's been a minute. But yeah, I mean that's really it on that. I think for me, it didn't do anything to improve my excitement for it, but it didn't hurt it anymore. So I guess I mean that's like, keep in mind when this movie was first announced and then it got sold to Amazon, I was like, oh fuck this shit, like, or Hulu, I can't remember which one it got sold to, but I was like, you know what, this shit's gonna be terrible. The first teaser came out, I was like, you know what, it's kind of it's interesting to see Eddie do these characters again for the nostalgia aspect of it. I still don't think the movie's gonna be good, but you know, I mean, I'm going to watch it. Me watching the movie was never in doubt, especially since we have this podcast. Even if we didn't, I would still watch it. It's just I'm not expecting it to be good. But what I will say, I didn't expect to like Dolomite Is My Name as much as I did either.
Right, and I know people always, including us, always sometimes clown about reboots and bringing things back and stuff like that and bringing back old franchises. But the reason why they do this is for the same reason you said. You weren't too impressed with the trailer and all that, but you're still gonna watch it because you're still invested with this character. You're still invested with the Coming to America brand or any other brand. I mean, like they were talking about to keep it on Eddie Murphy, bringing back Beverly Hills Cop. If and when they bring that back, I'm gonna watch it, regardless if the trailer looks shitty or not, because I've seen the first three. I'm invested in the Axel Foley character, so I'm going to watch it. And even if it's shit, and they come up with a fifth one, I'm still gonna watch it again. Saw is a great thing of that example because there have been tons of shitty Saw movies, and I continue to watch them.
Yeah, I mean, those Saw movies did get, like, looking back at it, like I was so engulfed in the story of Saw, like especially through the first 3 or 4. I was so engulfed in those stories that now going back, like Saw 3 was fucking terrible, bro.
It was, bro.
The first 2, the Saw 2 was I think it fell off some, but it was still pretty solid. But Saw 3, Saw 4, they were fucking terrible. But then the last one, the most recent one that came out, Jigsaw, was pretty cool. I mean, it wasn't back on the level of the original, but it was all right.
Is that the one where we find out the guy from part 1 is the killer? I'm so confused now.
Well, he wasn't the killer. It ended up being part of the story was a flashback, and part of it was, and they made it seem like it was both going on at the same time. But yeah.
Well, was that the last movie?
Yeah, that was the last
one. Yeah, that one was pretty decent. It's way better than like freaking 3 through whatever. I don't even know what number they're on right now. And I think they're in the works of coming out with another one. I think it's coming at the end of this year, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know with COVID if that something went crazy with that, but I think they're coming out with another one.
Yeah.
You know what movies I'm even, and not to go on off on a freaking tangent, but you know when you start talking horror with us, I wish they would come up with another Final Destination movie.
Yeah, I wish. They're rebooting the franchise.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, and I don't know if that got pushed back because of COVID and everything, but we talked about it, bro. I could have sworn, maybe we didn't, maybe it was a piece of news, but yeah, they're rebooting the franchise, starting all over.
Cool.
Yeah. So next we got 2 more pieces of news. Next bit of news. How do you feel about the original Cloverfield movie? Not none of the sequels or whatever, just the original Cloverfield movie.
I may be different than most, but I actually love it. I love Cloverfield. I love Cloverfield. I believe it's called Paradox, the one with John Goodman.
No. That's Cloverfield Lane. That one was good.
Cloverfield, sorry.
The Cloverfield Paradox that was the one they announced at the Super Bowl, and it came on Netflix the same day. That shit was fucking trash. But yeah, Cloverfield Lane.
I know the original Cloverfield I like, and Cloverfield Lane. I don't remember what Cloverfield Paradox was, to be honest.
That's
but those 2 I really loved.
Yeah.
What's that?
The Cloverfield Paradox was the one up in space.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
Good, you shouldn't. It's fucking terrible.
My mind probably just blocked it out because it was terrible.
But they have announced that they're officially making an actual sequel to Cloverfield. As far as from the first movie, picks up where the first movie left off. What do you think about that?
Who's making the movie? Same people.
J.J. Abrams, his production. I don't know if he's writing it or not, but his production team is still going to be a part of it. Bad Robot is still going to be a part of it.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine, and I think it'll be good because they have something. Cloverfield is such a simplistic movie, and the reason I asked you who made it is because if it went to like a big studio, they're gonna commercialize it so much, and I think when you have something so small and again simplistic, that's a little bit of the romance and a little bit of beauty, and then you throw all this money at it, and then they kind of water it down. So if it's still J.J. Abrams' studio, it'll probably still have that low budget sort of feel to it. And the writing in terms of the dialogue and the story, they've always been good in those films. I mean, Cloverfield Lane again.
That was amazing.
So amazing, bro. And the script is so simple. The budget on that had to be freaking low, but it doesn't matter because the story was so strong.
Yeah. But here's my speculation, right? I think there's a reason why we're getting announced. Like Cloverfield, big movie, kaiju monster movie, and the reason why I think that it kind of ties into our next bit of piece of news. We finally got a full trailer for King Kong versus Godzilla. Bro, when I tell you this was probably my favorite trailer I've seen, probably since Endgame, probably in well over a year, bro.
Yeah, the trailer was really good, and um, I have a feeling because I don't know if you've actually went around and seen what people are saying about this new upcoming movie.
Mhm.
It doesn't look like it's having a good reception. A lot of people seem to not be hyped up about this. I, for one, am. I actually went online doing some research. I was kind of shocked because I wanted to go back and maybe start from the very first Godzilla and King Kong movie and work my way down. Do you have any fucking clue how many movies these two franchises have?
Wait, you're talking about of just you want to start with the ones of just them together, or you're saying
Like
the
outside of the MonsterVerse, I'm saying go back from the beginning.
oh, bro, like to the Japanese ones? You're fucking
Right.
crazy,
I
bro.
didn't realize how many movies there were, bro. You're talking about
No.
like
Like
maybe
literally,
100.
literally, like I think even though they don't get promoted over here, I think like over in Japan, like Godzilla had a movie every year for like 8, 9 years in a row, if not
There's
more.
so many movies, bro.
Yeah.
Godzilla and King Kong, there's so many movies. In the MonsterVerse, I want to say there's maybe 5 or something. But yeah, I was shocked to see how many movies they have. But I'm for me, I'm definitely hyped about this.
Yeah. It's funny because I so far in this universe, not anything before, we've had 3 movies. We had 2 Godzilla movies and 1 King Kong movie. I love the King Kong movie. I like the second Godzilla more than the first one. But they've been overall pretty good. I haven't had it. There's been nothing that stuck out with them as far as me just thinking they're terrible. But I wasn't really looking forward to it. I mean, I wasn't like not looking forward to it either. It wasn't one of those things that I felt any type of way about. But after this trailer, bro, if for nothing, and this is what, and the Fast and Furious does this, right? There's always going to be a place for dumb action movies. And that's what no I don't care what the human characters have going on in this. I don't care about a storyline as long as out of the 2-hour runtime,
Give me
about
action.
about 90 minutes of that is nothing but monster fights. Sign me the fuck up. That's all I need to see.
Exactly, and that's what that all goes back to. Just go with what works. You don't a movie like King Kong versus Godzilla. You don't need strong dialogue. You don't need even great cinematography. You don't need a lot of that shit. Just show the action. We're there to see the action. That's what we're there to see. Just like Fast and Furious, we're there to see the cars. We're there to see the chase scenes. We're there to see the comedy. We're there to see the girls. I mean, that's it. That's it.
Yeah. That's all she there. That's really it. And they did such a great job in the trailer with getting to the action pretty quickly. Like within the I can't remember how long the trailer is, but within the first couple of seconds in the trailer, we get Godzilla coming out the water and King Kong punching him, and then we get another scene of Godzilla got fucking weapons, and he dodges the atomic breath and hits fucking fucking beautiful. Like this shit's amazing. It's better than the fucking McGregor fight. Sign me the fuck up.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's it, bro. That's all we got on news, man. I just wanted to talk about those things before we get into this movie. So what we're going to do now, we're going to play a trailer for The Little Things, and then when we come back, we're going to starring Denzel Washington, Jared Leto, and who's the fucking other guys? I always forget his name. Rami Malek.
Yeah.
All really good actors and performers in their own right.
All Oscar winners.
All Oscar winners. And that's what it feels like was the draw of this movie. It really overall feels like to me, like they, and this debuted on HBO Max, that they said, you know what? We got Denzel, we got Jared Leto, we got Rami Malek. They all signed on. Let's start filming tomorrow. But boss, we don't have a script. We'll figure the shit out as we go. And it all feels like they just showed up and did the same shit that each one of them does in kind of other movies. What do you think about? What did you overall thoughts before we get into the plot? What did you think about the movie?
Father, forgive me, for I have sinned. I give you so much shit for the movies you be picking, bro, and I just deeply want to apologize for recommending this piece of shit. But bro, you can't blame me. The reason I picked this film is exactly what you said. Denzel Washington, he's my number 3 overall ever. Rami Malek, Jared Leto. You can't miss. But this just goes to show you, you can have all the star power in the world, but if you don't have even a decent script and storyline, it doesn't matter all the star power you have, it's just not going to work. And this movie has a very big disconnect. We're going to get into it. But, bro, I'm going to say right out the bat, this may be the worst Denzel Washington movie I think I've ever seen. This man has made Training Day, John Q, Pelham 123, Remember the Titans, Glory. This man has made fucking classics.
Fences.
This is not one of them. What's that?
I mean, you know, you mentioned a lot of old school, but let's make sure that we point out that he's made recent great movies. Like I said, Fences, fucking amazing, which he also directed.
Amazing.
Roman J. Israel Esquire.
Amazing.
His acting and performance alone makes that fucking film.
Let me say this, and I'm not saying this because he's my third favorite of all time. Every Denzel, okay, let me scratch every. Majority of Denzel Washington movies he's in, he has what you call that's that Denzel Washington performance. Tom Hanks has it, Leo has it as well. In this movie, I didn't see that. That's that Denzel Washington performance where, you know, you're getting goosebumps, or it's just this monologue where he's going like you could see the emotion from him and everything coming out on camera. You don't get that. I honestly think Denzel was like, fuck this movie. Let me just get through it and collect my paycheck and get the fuck out of here.
And you say this was his worst movie. No, to me, Denzel's worst movie, 3 movies ever are Virtuosity, The Siege, and Equalizer 2. Those are fucking pieces of garbage.
I don't know if I've ever seen Virtuosity. Equalizer 2
him and Russell Crowe.
Siege was really bad. Yeah.
Exact. Siege was fucking terrible, bro. Like, but Virtuosity is him and Russell Crowe, I believe, is the villain in that movie. And what's so funny is I fucking loved that movie as a kid, bro. I watched the cassette of that fucking. It stayed in my room. I love that movie. I tried to watch it when I was like 22 or whatever. I was like, oh, it was on like something. I'm like, oh, I watched this. I used to love this as a kid. And I was sitting there wondering, like, what the fuck was I thinking?
Bro, we should actually do a series like that, because there's quite a few movies that I've seen as a kid and I loved, and I try to watch it now and I'm like, what in the fuck was I thinking liking this movie?
Yeah, but Denzel doesn't have very many bombs, especially compared to, like, if you compare it to some other people who've been in as many movies as him. His bomb to success ratio is very high. But
now, do you blame Denzel and the cast, or do you blame the writing, or do you blame the directing, or do you blame all of it?
It's all of it, bro. This was just a storm that should have been amazing. This is what it is. This movie. To keep my weather analogy, if we got forecast that it was supposed to be a beautiful, sunny day and we were going to go to the amusement park and we were going to go and hang out and chill, and we had this whole day planned, and you showed up and it just didn't stop fucking raining all day. That's what this movie is. Because the bones of this, when you look at this story, right? I think of it puts me in the mindset of like a 7. Right? Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt, the older, the younger, amazing. Like, you have, like, Kevin Spacey showed up at the very end of that, but whatever. And 2 older and younger cop, one's kind of over the shit, whatever. You have that in a mystery in this movie. It should have been great, but everything failed. Denzel melded in. Jared Leto, I don't want to say he melded in, because what his character was supposed to be, I think he did that. That was on the page.
Not to cut you off, but I feel like Jared Leto was just playing. He's the same fucking character in every movie. I feel like this kind of like. Jared Leto did fine, but I don't feel like he had to do much. I feel like this is Jared Leto. Like, this is he. I feel like he was typecasted for that role, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And then Sami Malik, he did what he like. It just. There was no heart in this movie, right? And part of that is what's on the page. I also think Sami Malik and Denzel had no fucking chemistry. In a movie like this, when you're putting these 2 people together, it's all built around the chemistry. And by the end of the movie, I did not feel that the chemistry we saw on screen, that Denzel's character would have done that for Rami Malek. I think he would have just been like, oh shit, this is on you. I'm fucking up out of here. But we'll get into it, because we don't like. because the ending does leave. I want to have a conversation. I think what the major part of what we talk about in this movie is going to be about that ending. But let's get there first. Let's set the stage. We don't really do synapses and we don't run everything down. But I do think with a movie like this that's a mystery, you have to kind of set it up. So we get Denzel's character, who is a cop, who we don't know, something happened in his past when he was on the case. He goes to a smaller town. He comes back into town because there's more movement on the case. And Rami Malek is now the new cop on the case. They come across eventually, like, I don't even remember how they end up getting with Jared. Oh, the car thing with Jared Leto. Jared Leto really isn't in much of this movie. But then they start focusing in on him. Now, the thing that I did like here, and this is what I think could have been great, Jared Leto's character being someone who likes the attention of people thinking he's a murderer could have been such a great plot point, because that's not one that you see very often in movies. It's usually pretty straightforward. But overall, those bones of the film. What do you think about everything we talked about so far?
Yeah, I agree with you in some of there. It really saddens me a little bit though, because the way the movie started out, I was immediately like intrigued. Just the way it started, and as I feel like as the movie ran on more and more, it got weaker and weaker as it went on. And it kind of picked back up a little bit at the end. But this is one of those movies where the meat and potatoes that are supposed to be the heaviest, it just completely lacked in. And, just, I can't say that enough. It just lacked. Something was missing. And I can't, say specifically what, or like you said, it could be a multitude of things. It's just outside of the beginning and the end, there wasn't really much to this.
Yeah, the middle part, you're right. It lacks, and if there would have been other suspects, like the thing, bro, I think we just got to get into this fucking ending, bro. Like, because I keep wanting to talk around it, but like,
and map it out for the people.
So first, let's do this first. The interrogation scene with Rami Malek and Jared Leto. This should have been the matching of wits between two great actors, right? This is when you get a cast like this, you want to see how they play off each other. You want to set up a scene to where they can chew up the scenery and have this like war of words back and forth or whatever. And this was the worst fucking interrogation scene I've ever seen in my fucking life. So, go ahead.
I don't think they allowed them to peak at what they're capable of and what we've seen from both of these guys. Both these guys are brilliant actors. Let's not fuck around. They're both brilliant actors. There's a reason they won Oscars, but I don't know. They didn't get we didn't see their full potential here. This is supposed to be an intense, it's an interrogation thing. It's supposed to be intense, and it just wasn't that. It's something that you see out of I mean, SVU has more
way better interrogation scenes than this.
Yeah.
So we get to the end of the movie, and at this point, Denzel, Rami Malek have basically, they're all but convinced that Jared Leto is the murderer. And no fault of their own, because Jared Leto plays into it. Rami Malek finally he doesn't quite snap at this point. He gets Jared Leto, makes him take him out to the desert. He's supposed to show him where the body's buried. He starts digging. Almost as soon as he starts digging, Jared Leto starts fucking with him, right? The tension starts building. He's like, oh no, I think it was over there. And then he starts digging a little bit again. And then Jared Leto finally says, look, I've actually never murdered anyone in my life. And Rami Malek doesn't believe him. And I forget what he says that finally makes Rami Malek snap and hits him with the shovel, killing him. Fuck, I did not expect him to die. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you see hits like this in action movies all the fucking time and people get back up. Killed that motherfucker. So what did you think about that scene?
Yeah, so obviously I knew he was going to eventually hit him, because it's frustrating, You're trying to find something, and now the guy says this whole thing has been a sham. It's all bullshit. But I expected him to hit him. I didn't expect him to kill him, obviously. It's Jared Leto. I think he's going to be out through the rest of the movie. But I was pretty shocked at that. However, I was shocked in a good way, because I'm like, okay, well, maybe this shit is heating up now, because now he just fucking killed somebody. He's a cop. He just killed somebody. What's going to happen now?
And that's where the fucking shit starts going. Bro, I just knew there were going to be like another 20 minutes. I think there is actually another 20 minutes in this movie. And nothing fucking happens for the rest of the movie. Like, everything that happens after this point should have been condensed down to 8 minutes. Go ahead.
Bro, you know what's really disgusting about what you just said?
What?
I'm 99% positive there is, because when that happened, when he hit him with the shovel, right? I think I clicked to see how long was left in the movie, and the total duration, at least on what I was watching, was 2 hours and 7 minutes. And I think when he got hit with the shovel was 1 hour. I swear, I think it was 1 hour and 47 minutes, which would legitimately be 20 minutes left of the movie.
Bro, I was so disappointed. So this is what happens after this. Denzel Washington, he basically comes out. We see, and I said before, he has a dark past. Well, it turns out that he accidentally shot one of the girls he was trying to protect. That's why he left. That's why he kind of all went down. They had alluded to it over the course of the movie or whatever. The coroner covered it up. They all covered it up. Basically, sent him away. He helped Sammy. I keep wanting to call him Sammy. Rami Malek bury his body. And Rami Malek is still convinced that no, Jared Leto was actually the killer, because in his mind, it makes it better that, not better, but it makes it less serious that he killed him if he can prove that he ended up being the murderer, right?
Right.
So they end up burying the body. Like I said, I really don't know what happens next. The fact that I can condense all this down into two sentences. The fact that it took 20 minutes.
Snowy and cold. Grab a scarf. A check print scarf never goes out of style. Help personalize your recommendation. What's your
You said something to trigger it.
women's or men?
Alexa, turn off.
This is exactly how a horror movie would go, by the way.
Exactly.
Right before the
No,
motherfucker
but it would
pops
have
out
been
the wall.
upstairs, and I would have been like, "Who the fuck's talking to?"
But you would have only went if you were white.
Exactly.
Girl.
But nonetheless, so Denzel comes out, and he helps bury him, and then Rami Malek is he's so convinced that Jared Leto, he has, for his own mental health, he has to believe that that Jared Leto was the killer. Otherwise, he's gonna feel guilty about what he did.
Like he killed a good man.
Exactly. And so what happens is Denzel basically falsifies this red beret that was mentioned throughout all this movie. And Denzel mails it to him, a dirty version. He buries it, makes it look like it's part of the investigation or whatever, and evidence. And he ends up mailing it to Rami Malek's character. So Rami Malek thinks, okay, no, Jared Leto was the actual killer. Now I can rest.
No angels.
And exactly. And there's a couple of issues that I have with this. For one, that means that there's a killer still out there. And for two, like I said, the relationship between these two, while you could tell that Denzel saw a lot of himself in Rami Malek, there was nothing to say that there's close enough where he's going to help him cover up a body. Go ahead.
So I'm so glad you point that out. Okay, so let me. I want to ask you a question. By Denzel sending that envelope, right, with all the contents, the beret and the the note, does Rami Malek believe, that Jared Leto was the killer, or does he believe he knows Jared Leto is not the killer, but by this thing Denzel is doing is to make him feel better?
No, I think Rami Malek fully believes that he's the killer.
Okay, so let's go with that, and you may be right, because I didn't know which way that was going, but throughout this movie, I don't feel that there was a connection or a closeness or a chemistry for Denzel to even give a fuck as to how Rami Malek feels. Like, yeah, if it's your friend, your brother, your whatever, your cousin, whatever, you're gonna want to do something to make them feel better. But these two didn't really have a connection to where either of them really gives a shit about one another. And if they did, through the story they didn't show that on the screen. They didn't show that with the chemistry, like you said before. They didn't show that in the dialogue. So I think if they would have showed a little bit more of their friendship and their closeness and their like that, maybe at that end, it could have been more impactful. To me, that ending didn't need to be. It didn't. I wasn't like, oh shit. It was no reaction for me.
Even Denzel's character comes off as somebody who basically would have, to me, the way that I interpreted the character, would have looked at Rami Malek's character and be like, well, you're going to have to get over this. You did it. You're going to have to get over it. I got over it. Retire if you need to, but find your way to get over it. Not to like complete. And on top of that, matter of fact, to the opposite. What we saw in Denzel's character was the exact opposite of how they ended it. because he wanted so bad to have justice for those women that, to me, he would have wanted Rami Malek to use that fuel to keep trying to find the actual killer. Like, he would have wanted that. Like, now he's basically created a scenario in which these girls are never going to get justice.
Exactly. We usually, when we do these movies, we usually try to fantasy, quote unquote fantasy book this. How would you have rewrote this?
To me, okay, like you said, the first act is pretty. It's establishing. As establishing, there's not much there. To me, I would have had it more. And they do try to show Rami Malek's character trying to get Denzel to be like to stay in town, because Denzel, almost from the time he gets there, is like, I'm leaving tomorrow. Like, it just keeps, I'm out of here tomorrow. I'm getting out of here tomorrow. But I almost would have rather something happen is that the killer sees that Denzel's back and starts taunting him. And then, even though Denzel wants to leave, he's like, fuck, this guy knows I'm back. And maybe he kills another girl and leaves a message specifically for Denzel on the girl. And then at that point, Denzel's obsession is not going to allow him to leave. And then we start seeing Rami Malek's obsession grow as well, because he's like, look, I want to get this motherfucker as bad as you two. And they bond over the fact that this guy, it just keeps getting one up on them. Like, they make Jared Leto the focus. I almost would have rather, but with the way that the whole storyline went, you make the killer throwing them to Jared Leto's direction. Or hell, go a route of Kiss the Girls, where Jared Leto is a disciple of the main guy, and they don't find that out to the end. Like, I get the irony. I do like the irony of you have somebody who is completely innocent, but he's just fucking mentally fucking unstable, and he likes the attention. I do like that part of it. But I think if they would have, ultimately, we needed to have something with the real killer. And let's say they find the real killer at the end, and then Rami Malek's like, all right, but now I got to atone for the fact that I killed this guy. I got to go tell him I killed this guy. Like, something like that could have been a deeper story. Almost anything. What about you? How would you have rewritten it? You're the writer here. I'm the director. You're the writer.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't necessarily know how people would feel about this, but I was with you a little bit where, let's see the killer, because I feel like there's that empty space there. Like, hello, there's still a killer on the loose. Has no one realized that there's still a freaking killer on the loose? Let's see that killer. Let's see that killer kill again.
Yeah.
To the point where you're saying, where I was with you, drive Denzel Washington absolutely insane, because he's now calling out Denzel Washington. He's going back to that old case and doing some of the same things to pull out Denzel Washington, to the point where Denzel Washington is so obsessed and crazy, he actually ends up finding the killer and actually ends up killing the killer. And I would have it, instead of having Rami Malek and Denzel Washington like, oh, this fake friendship, brotherhood, whatever you want to call it, actually have Rami Malek being the one to put down Denzel Washington. So while, yes, he put down Jared Leto, who necessarily was innocent, now he has to put down Denzel Washington, who's also a fellow cop, but also killed a man. So it goes along with Rami Malek. And now that ending scene where you see Rami Malek sitting by the pool or wherever the hell he's sitting outside and looking just like sad, now there's more emotion, because now not only has he killed an innocent man, he's killed a fellow cop who was also a good man, but through blind range or whatever, ended up killing somebody. So now at this point, this movie can come to a close. Denzel is dead. Jared Leto's dead. They found out who the killer is, and he's dead. And now it's just Rami Malek in his misery.
Yeah. It could have been so much better, bro. This cast, like, it sucks, bro.
Fuck it. Put this shit away.
It really does stink to see such a great cast. And that's worse to me. Like, if they would have cast this movie, maybe Denzel and a bunch of unknowns, maybe Jared Leto and two unknown cops, like, it wouldn't have been as much of a slap in the face. But to have legends, like, for what all of these actors have roles that are going to go down in time as some of the best, and to fucking shit out this turd of a movie.
I mean, Rami Malek literally just won the fucking Academy last year for Freddie Mercury, for Christ's sake. Yeah. I mean, he's one of the hottest young actors now. mixed in with one of the OGs of the game, and this is the movie we got.
You know what? It's even better. So we focus on the actors, right? Let's
The
go to the
director.
writer. Let's go to the writer of this movie.
Yeah,
Because-
the writer wrote Blindside. They wrote
The Highwayman, which was pretty good.
Highwayman.
The Founder, which is fucking phenomenal with Michael Keaton about the McDonald's.
No, the director, the writer and the director, by the way, Hancock. He wrote and directed this.
Yes.
But for the Founder, he wrote the Founder, right?
He directed The Founder. He did.
Right. He also directed, which is a hidden gem. And if you've never seen this, people haven't seen this, please watch this. It's it's a Clint Eastwood movie, man. With Kevin Costner. Shit. With the little kid, and he's wearing the Casper outfit the whole movie.
Oh damn! What is the name of that movie? I know
Are you on the filmography right now?
No, I'm not. I can go to it though.
This guy
wrote The Rookie too. Oh, he directed The Rookie.
Right. That was a Kevin Costner movie too, I think, right?
No, that's Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid, right. Oh man, now I forgot the name of the damn movie.
He wrote and directed The Blind Side with Sandra Bullock.
Yes.
God
And he wrote and directed. Keep going down the list though. It was like in the 90s. And it was a Kevin Costner movie. It's on the tip.
Perfect World.
Perfect World.
Yeah.
Great movie. Hidden gem. If no, you haven't seen it, definitely check that out. But yeah, this guy is not a nobody. This guy's done some great work.
That's just crazy, bro. I don't understand how the fuck they came up with this turd, man.
This is again what happens when you have some big names and you're like, fuck it, doesn't matter what the story is and the script is. It's these guys. It's gonna be good.
Jesus Christ, bro. This fucking 2021, bro. We're off to a great start, I guess.
Ratings.
Honestly, bro, and this isn't just to like shit on them even more. I can't even give this a 5, bro. This is like a 4.
I would probably rate this. Oh man, I'm trying not to, because I'm usually the asshole and I'm trying not to do that. But I have to be honest, man. I have to give this a 4 as well. And let me tell you, if it wasn't for the opening and the ending, this movie might be like a 1.5. I'm not even fucking around. This movie was really, really. I mean, it's not Child's Play level, but it's really bad.
Fucking terrible, bro. All right, but let us know what you guys think about the little things. Maybe there are a couple people. Well, bro, you got any? I know you trivia, Rotten Tomatoes. What you got on this? Anything?
IMDb had it like a 6.3. I think I didn't get a chance to check Rotten Tomatoes because I probably already know what it's going to be. But you know what? As I'm talking here, well, doesn't hurt.
47% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Is that audience or critic?
That is critic.
And audience?
Let me go back. Hold on.
Yeah, I know IMDb got like a 6.3 or something like that, which is pretty
Audience
terrible.
actually gave this 64% so far.
Yeah, that's still shit. But for Rotten Tomatoes, it's pretty decent because Rotten Tomatoes is very harsh.
Exactly. So, hey,
no academies are being won off this movie. I'll tell, that's my bold prediction.
None. This will get nominated for nothing. Nothing.
Yeah. I will say there is just real quick because we haven't given much highlights. There is one highlight in this movie because the setting of this movie is the early 90s apparently. Mm-hmm. And I like all the little throwbacks, like the little Mortal Kombat game. At one point, I don't know if you realize they were watching Karate Kid. So those little throwbacks to like the 80s and 90s that you saw, that was cool. I'm just trying to fucking throw something out there as a positive.
Something?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck all that shit.
Fuck. Take it to the grave.
Fuck all this shit. This shit was shit. It's gonna be shit. It ain't never gonna be nothing more than some shit. This was bullshit. And it was a waste of my motherfucking time. And I don't say that about a lot. Usually I'm able to pull a couple. Like you said, like, well, I think we both. Act 1 is like, Act 1 makes you think you're about to be in for a really good movie. And then it just falls off the fucking cliff right after that. It never fucking the ending isn't great either, but at least it's an ending that leaves you to talk about something after the movie, which some bad movies you just leave and there's nothing to talk about. At least it does leave you for that if that's something you look for in film. But other than that, fuck all this shit. Fuck it.
To sum this movie up, you ain't shit. You ain't never gonna be shit. Quote, Roland Bishop, Tupac, Juice.
And that's it. We are out this bitch. Thank you for all of our film family. JB, go and give them your social media so we can get the fuck up out of here.
We can run the fuck out of here. It's at the P1JB on Twitter. That's at THEP1JB. You can also find me on Facebook. And I'll shoot it back over to Haize to close it up.
You can follow me at CEO Haize, CEO Haize. You can follow us collectively at The Film Bros. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, thefilmfrequencypod@gmail.com. We are the #1 movie podcast in the world. The ratings will follow that very shortly, but we're out this bitch. Peace.